Okay, it's time now for French Connections, our weekly look at the intricacies of life here in France with Florence Villeminot, who's with me here in the studio. Hey, how are you? And this week we're focusing on the world of French cinema, which is of course mourning the loss of one of the country's biggest and most beloved movie stars, Jean-Paul Belmondo.
That's right, Jean-Paul Belmondo with his crooked boxer nose, his mischievous grin, and his ever-present cigarette in his mouth. He was one of the most popular figures in French cinema, a career spanning 6 decades, almost over 80 films. He was loved by all generations in France. He represented, for many, the quintessential Frenchman. Seductive, charming, classy, laid back. Some might say he was the epitome of old-school French masculinity that might not really fly these days, but it's hard to overstate just how much French people loved him.
And Florence, you know that you've made it into the hearts of the French nation when they can refer to you just by your nickname.
That's right. Now, there was Johnny. You might remember Johnny, the beloved French rocker Johnny Hallyday, who passed away in 2017. Well, Jean-Paul Belmondo was Bébel, which is our word du jour. Now, Bébel really was a living legend, larger than life, a force of nature, and for decades he was really part of the national wallpaper. So many French people said that when he passed away, it was very much like losing a member of their own family. Take a listen.
Il nous a fait rire, il nous a fait pleurer. C'est une grande perte.
C'est le cinéma français, c'est les premiers films avec lesquels ma génération a été baignée.
Des très bons souvenirs devant la télévision en famille.
Vous trouviez séduisant, vous ?
Oui, très séduisant.
Moi, c'est le genre d'homme que j'aime, des hommes costauds, un peu très, très masculins.
Pour moi, Jean-Paul Belmondo, ça représente vraiment toute une époque. D'abord toute ma jeunesse. Il m'a fait rêver.
C'est un peu enfantin, mais c'est 48 ans et on pleure pour quelqu'un que... c'est bizarre.
Une page qui se tourne, un des derniers monstres sacrés français.
Now, throughout his decades-long career, he played in comedies, action movies. He was a well-rounded actor, but internationally, most people remember him as being the flag-bearer of the New Wave movement.
Absolutely, because his breakout role was in the film Breathless, à bout de souffle by Jean-Luc Godard alongside Gene Seberg, of course. That film really broke all the rules, launched the new wave, and Jean-Paul Belmondo was quickly seen as the movement's leader. He played in all sorts of other new wave films by François Truffaut, Alain Resnais, Louis Malle, but he didn't only do art house intellectual movies. Later in life, actually, he did a lot of blockbuster favorites, hits like That Man from Rio, Peur sur la Ville, where he performed his own stunts. I mean, he would run on top of a metro that was going over the Seine. He was hanging from a helicopter over Venice. Incredible stuff. But what's interesting is he actually drew some criticism for going mainstream at the end. But he said he owed it to his fans. So he had this incredible career, over 80 movies. It's really hard to summarize that and really hard to choose a favorite film. So let's take a listen to him. What were his top 3 favorites?
Prendre à bout de souffle, forcément, parce que pour beaucoup de choses. Et puis dans un autre genre, je sais pas, j'irais peut-être chercher L'Homme de Rio. Et puis Pierrot le Fou aussi. Voilà, comme ça ferait un peu les... Mais ce que je voudrais dire, c'est que c'est fini, quoi.
Now, Jean-Paul Belmondo was renowned for his work on screen, but also his larger-than-life persona off-screen.
Absolutely. He is what you would call a déconneur in France, a loving word that people use for a joker. And he had this very likable personality that meant that a lot of people in the movie industry loved to work with him, and so miss him dearly now that he's gone. Take a listen.
C'est comme si je me levais le matin, que je me baladais sur les quais, qu'il n'y avait plus la Tour Eiffel. Voilà. Et c'est un peu ça la disparition de Jean-Paul pour moi. Il n'y a plus la Tour Eiffel.
Comme s'il y avait un pan de mur énorme d'un palais qui s'écroulait sous nos yeux. Pour moi, Belmondo, c'était la gaieté même. C'était quelqu'un qui m'a fait énormément rire.
Il était à lui tout seul une cour de récréation dont la France avait besoin. Il était dans la vie, il aimait la vie et il savait la faire aimer à ceux qui regardaient ses films. Voilà. Donc quand on sortait d'un film de Jean-Paul, on avait la pêche.
Now, Flo, this is an actor who, of course, gained international stardom with classics like Breathless, but he never actually had much of a career outside of France.
That's right, like other cult actors of his generation, like Catherine Deneuve or his buddy Alain Delon, he never made it in Hollywood, for instance, but apparently it's because he didn't want to. Apparently he said, "Why complicate my life? I'm too stupid to learn the language, and it would only be a disaster." So he was a big hit in French films, but also in the theater later in life, which was his original passion. He always had a very interesting and inspiring thirst for new experiences.
Je crois que dans la vie, il y a deux choses. Arrivé à un moment donné, on peut se dire, ou je prends une canne à pêche et puis je n'attends plus rien de la vie, ce qui est très triste, ou alors la vie est toujours formidable et il y a toujours des passions. Il faut jouer tant qu'on en a envie. Je crois qu'on vieillit du moment où on n'a plus envie de quelque chose.
Now, unfortunately, a stroke in 2001 did force him to stop working for a certain amount of time, though he did release a final film 8 years later, A nommer son chien. Now, when he passed away, the French president described him as a national treasure. He certainly did dust French cinema off, bring it into all sorts of new, exciting directions, inspire a whole bunch of French actors, and so his passing certainly is the end of an era.
Okay, Florence Villeminot, thank you very much. And that's all we have time for this French Connections. In the meantime, do tweet your questions to @FloVilleminot, and of course check out our website, france24.com. And that's all from me for now, but do stay with us here on France 24.
Stages of military operations to disarm Iraq, to free its people, and to defend the world from grave danger.
It was unfinished business from the first Gulf War.
The citizens of Iraq realized, there's no authority, and that's when our troubles really began.
Never before in the history of America has the President of the United States authorized human beings to be tortured.
For the next episode, tune in tomorrow at the same time and watch our full programme on Saturday, September 11th.